Hey guys, it's Rogue Rage from Final Turn, along with Crisco Chris, our
On
cameraman. Fangirl, who's uploading another video as we speak, actually.
What?
Today we're bringing you our second Buddy Fight deck profile. This is my deck. It's my Dungeon World deck. Hopefully we get those Kazani flags soon. As you guys know, I like the Rogue idea. So instead of building what's been topping lately, which is a hybrid or Heroes mix. Adventurers, sorry. Heroes. Heroes is Legend World. Sorry. Instead of Adventurers or Hybrid, I just went full-on Dungeon Enemy. I like the deck a lot. It's pretty aggro, quick pace, smashes your opponent in the face for crits. And yeah, it's all in all my favorite deck so far that I've built. Until Hero World comes out, which will hopefully eventually happen if Bushi gets on it. Alright, so my buddy is One-Eyed Demon Lord Keith One-Aid. His ability is, first of all, he's a 5/2/5. He costs 1 gauge, that's his call cost. And his ability, if he's on the left or right, when this monster would be destroyed, you could discard a dungeon enemy from your hand to keep him on the field. He's got a penetrate and a lifelink of 2.
Wow.
I like this guy a lot. He's a pseudo boss of the deck. The only reason he's my buddy though is because I don't have enough Bladewing Phoenix. If I had 5, he'd be my buddy. Because Bladewing Phoenix is awesome, frankly. Really good card. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about him. His penetrate's really useful. The fact that you can keep him on the field. The penetrate is really nice because it gives him an out, sort of. You don't want to play him to the center anyway, so if he's got the penetrate from left or right, your opponent's sometimes going to waste their resources and their attacks trying to destroy him. If you got your dungeon enemies in your hand, drop them. This guy's staying on the field, and they've wasted a few attacks that could have been directed at you. On to the lineup. So for my size 0 monsters, I run 3 Momoshima Cobalt. This is the trial deck size 0. He's really good. He's kind of like a Armor Knight Tiger. He's a 1/2/2. His attack and defense are pretty abysmal, but his 2 crit is what makes him a really good card. I don't run him at forward just because his attack is really abysmal. I run 6 grade 0s, size 0s in total.
Look at him. He's got a meat shield.
Yeah.
A meat shield. That's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty badass simply because if you read his flavor text, which says,
It's gross.
"Sniff smells like humans, let's chase them off with our piercing howls." Something tells me that's like a thigh, human thigh or something like that, so it's pretty gross, but
Way to go.
yeah, dog eats humans, so that's always friendly. Second, I run 3 Fate Skeletons. He's a 3/1/3. Just a good beater. His crit is what makes him not a 3 of alongside Momoshima Cobalt, but his 3/3 attack and defense makes him pretty solid. I like him a lot. They're great to play out with the boss of the deck, which you guys will see in a little bit. Either one. I prefer Momoshima Cobalt alongside him, but I would totally take Fate Skeleton on the field as well. Helps clear the center. Actually, with our boss, you don't need the center cleared, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Our size 1s, I run 4 Evil Break. This guy's great. You pay 1 gauge, and then when he's played on the field, you search your deck for an item. For a staff, which is an item. And he gets those staffs in hand that I really like to have. You'll see those later on. This guy's really good, though. I only run him because of his search ability. That's the only reason I would run 4 of him. Other than that, his 2/1/2, pretty meh. I end up charging him for the most part. Don't really use him on the field unless it's to search out that staff that I want.
He's a very good. Comment incoming. I know a little bit, but he's really good in dungeon enemies because dungeon enemies will use a lot of staff weapons rather than adventurers will try and use like the Drago sword, something like that, and the Glory Seekers. That's one of their main tools. So this guy is very good searching out some like the specialized enemy weapons.
Yeah, he makes the deck really playable, especially when you see your boss.
I gave a comment.
I run 2 Gummy Slime. We all know what Gummy Slime is. Everyone loves Gummy Slime. He's a 2/2/3. We love him simply because he's Gummy Slime. Unfortunately, these aren't the foil versions. probably get the foil version just because Gummy Slime. His ability's stuck. And that's what stops movability. Sorry. He's more of a Tekken in case I'm playing Thunder Knights. I really hate the movability. It's annoying, and because Gummy Slime looks like this Gummy Slime. That's really the only reason I run him, to be honest. I run 3 Dax Cobalt. He's a Rapier clone, so he's a 5-2-1. He's really good for clearing the center, clearing any monsters you don't want on the field. Throw him in the center, use him as bait. His 1 defense. I mean, his 2 crit's nice, but his 1 defense, he's going to get cleared out anyway. If your opponent doesn't like that 5 attack, he's gone anyway. All in all, good card. I'd say he's a staple, just like Thousand Rapier's a staple. I'd say he's a staple in Dungeon Enemy builds. On to the size 2s. I run 4 Blade Wing Phoenix, who's a 5-2-1 with double attack at the call cost of 1 gauge. Was it 1? Yeah, it's 1. Sorry. Yep, double attack is really nice. Ends up hitting for 4 crit in a turn. Really all I could say about him. I like having him in the center. Actually, I don't like having him in the center. I like having him preferably on the left or right with like a Dox Cobalt in the center, just because he'll swing for the 4 crit, get Dox Cobalt to swing for 2, takes pressure away from the center because your opponent's going to hate getting hit with that double attack. And once again, I like keeping my center either filled, plugged, and I like to direct attention away from the center just like it should be. I run 4 my buddy, One-Eyed Demon Lord, Keith One-Aid. Went over why he's a good card earlier, and yeah, max him out because he's my buddy and he's a good card. General consensus between both Keith One-Aid and Blade Wing Phoenix are, in case I don't get my boss card out, they're pseudo bosses that work really well in the deck and help the aggro build. Not aggro build, aggro strategy. If I can't get Meteorite out, those guys are really good backups. Then I run 2 Skull.
You gave away your boss.
I did give it away.
Oh no.
That's okay. It's alright.
I hate his boss.
I run 2 Skull Golem Mazubaha. He's a 6-2-5. I'm thinking of switching him. I like his stats. That's really why I run 2 of him. Just a good card. 6-2-5 gets rid of a lot of things on the field. I was thinking of running Thunder Spaltis instead of him. We'll see. He's pretty exchangeable for Thunder Spaltis. I think I'm going to run Thunder Spaltis instead of him. But all in all, an okay beater. And on to our size 3s. I only run 1 size 3 in the deck.
And he's horrible.
And that's Guardian Dragon of the Ruins, Meteor Rain. He's a 10-3-4 for 2 gauge. His call cost is you pay 2 gauge. You put the top 2 cards of your deck into his soul. He's got a lifelink of 3, penetrate, and double soul guard. This guy is an absolute tank. I love this card. I love everything about him. I love his artwork. I love his stats. Well, I'm not a fan of the 4 defense, but I mean, they need something to level him, balance him out. His call cost isn't too hard to achieve in this deck at all because the deck isn't too heavy on gauge, especially if you get him out early. He's insane. I love everything about him. His other ability is it's a counter ability. When he's being attacked, you can discard 2 dungeon enemies from your hand and destroy a monster on the field, so that could either negate the attack that's being directed at him, or you can destroy if you have enough Soul Guard and you don't really care about the monster attacking you. If you want to utilize to penetrate next turn, discard 2 dungeon enemies, get rid of the next attack on the field, and your opponent's left with just destroying a Soul Guard. Yeah, great monster overall. Great card. Completely recommend using him. You guys might have seen me use him against Nicole in our first Midnight Stand-Up Buddy Fight episode, and he's a great top deck too. I don't really have many bad things to say about this card. On to our items. I run 2 Staff of Monster Master Alerta. It's pay 2 gauge. It's a 0/0. You pay 2 gauge, and its ability is you rest it as a counter. And if you rest it, you give a monster in your field that's being attacked plus 2,000 defense, 2,000 attack, and counter attack. I love searching this guy out with Evil Break, equipping it, playing Meteor or left searching him out with Evil Break early game, then later game called Meteor Rain. Play this. Now you've got a center that's damn near unstoppable from what I've seen so far. Love it. You don't even have to discard the dungeon enemies because he's hitting for 12-6, which is usually enough to counterattack. Yeah, all in all, great card.
With his soul guard, even if one of his souls is destroyed with counterattack, he'll still be able to destroy the monster. So pretty good staff. Spear.
I only run two of these because they're searchable. And I run 3 Dominion Rods, which are a 3/2 staff. You pay 1 gauge, and all dungeon enemies get power plus 1,000, defense plus 1,000. This is a pretty good card. I like having him back here when I have Meteor Rain out as well. Oh, sorry for the stutter, guys. I like having him out with Meteor Rain just because it gives him even beefier stats. His defense isn't that great, so that 5k could help force a link attack. Discard 2, discard 2, destroy one of them attacking monsters, attack's over. That's all I really have to say about that one. If not, it's also a good 2 crit weapon. On to my spells. I run 4 Divine Protection of Shalsana. That should be a no-brainer. That's your nullifier. You pay 1 gauge. Counter any attack, stop any attack, and gain life. Any time damage would be dealt to. So it's pretty versatile shield. Its 1 gauge cost makes it more than useful. Now when it comes to gauge in the deck, it's not too heavy on gauge, but sometimes there are gauge issues. So I run 4 Dangerous Fuse. I'm not the biggest fan of this card, mostly because it plays into the Dungeon World gimmick of luck. Its ability is, when you play it, you take the top 2 from your deck, reveal 1 to your opponent, shuffle them up, and your opponent has to choose the card from those 2. If they get it right, it goes into your hand, sorry. If they get it wrong, it goes into your gauge. It's nice for fueling a gauge engine when your opponent gets it wrong. It's great if you want the 2 cards in your hand. If they're 2 dungeon enemies, you want them in your hand. Use for Meteor Rain, use for 1 aid. But the thing is, though, depending on your situation, you might not want that gauge. You might want the hand. You might not want the hand, you want the gauge. Because it's all up to luck. I mean, I guess that's part of the gimmick when you choose to play certain Dungeon World builds. Dangerous Fuse is that card. I wish there was a clone of Lord Aura Meditation or Key of Solomon First Volume, but as of right now there isn't, so this is what we got to work with gauge and hand refuelers.
Have you seen those cards that play rock, paper, scissors? That's crazy.
I don't have any of those.
They're the only ones that do that.
Yeah.
Very powerful mechanic.
I run 3 Pillar of Fire. You pay 1 gauge, destroy a monster with 6,000 or less defense as long as you don't have a monster in the center. This is a card that I enjoy having if I can't have Meteor Rain out. Sometimes what I like to do is play 1 aid. If they're either going after 1 aid, leave my center open, play 1 aid, and a size 1 or a size 0, whatever. Have them come after me or 1 aid, play this, destroy their monster, negate the attack, while keeping my center free, and yeah, it's just more of a troll card for me. I like it though. I play 3 Cecilia's Spell Disarm. You pay 2 gauge and destroy an item on the field. I really wish this card was a counter. It bothers me so much that this card isn't a counter.
What's the cast cost?
2 gauge.
Oh,
yeah. It's alright. I wish
it feels like pay 3 gauge. Maybe it could be a counter. Other counter spell destructs?
For Dungeon World, no. This is the only spell destruction card for Dungeon World. But I really wish it was a counter. That's all I really have to say about it. I like the fact that it can get rid of weapons, especially now with Legend World out and whatnot. But they missed the ball on this card. It should be a counter. I'd definitely be happy if it was 3 gauge, pay destroy a card. on a destroys item. And then I play, last but not least, 2 Oracle of Tuval. You can only play this card if you have 5 life or less. You discard your hand and draw 3 new cards.
Wow.
You only play it once per turn. I like it. I like using it if I only have like 2 cards in my hand, one of them, or actually even if it's the only card in your hand, play it, discard what hand you have, and draw 3. So it's pretty much 3 free cards late game. Yeah. So those are the 50 cards that I run for the deck. I myself like to run 50 cards. I think 50 is the most consistent number. I know some people like to run like 60 card decks, like our buddy Juan Mango. Check his profile out. Check his channel out. Great guy, great guy. 50 cards for me is the most consistent in getting what I need. Once you start to go over that, it just ruins your numbers, and you don't draw into what you need as often. Don't like that chance. Because I only run 50 cards, though, it makes building a lot harder, it seems. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could go 54 cards or whatever, but I like 50. I'd like to thank Jalen from Team Burning Infinity for giving me the inspiration for this deck. So I guess I'd like to review it more, as opposed to, the build is pretty similar to his, few differences here and there. He's showed me it at regionals in Albany, and I ended up falling in love with it. Yeah, my experiences with the deck so far have been nothing but positive. Super fun to play. It pretty much emphasizes what makes Buddy Fight a fun game. Sans the name, because the name's terrible. Yeah, it's fast, it's fun, it's fast-paced, it's aggressive, it's mean when it goes off exactly how you want it to. It goes off pretty consistently. There's been very few games where I don't get Meteor Rain in the center, or 1-8, or Blade Wing to the left or right. I know Vangirl hates playing against it.
Hate it.
As long as I can ruin her day, it's a good day for me. I know Crisco Chris thinks it's oppressive. It's oppressive, not impressive.
Impressive.
What do you mean?
You think it's an impressive deck.
I've played it?
Against it.
I have. I don't
Crisco
recall playing Buddy Fight.
Crisco Chris, everybody.
Buddy Fight.
Buddy Fight. That's actually what we're doing a profile on.
I think I'll play Buddy Fight.
You played Buddy
I'll
Fight.
give it a shot.
Yeah. That's Crisco Chris at his finest. I've cracked it at locals a few times. Does fairly well. Never went negative with it. Usually like 3-2 or 2-1 depending on usually around 3-2 if it's a 5-round tournament or 6-round. Sorry, 4-2, 3-3. It's always a pretty solid deck. I enjoy running it. And yeah, I think you guys should all try something a little bit different in Rogue, a little out there. You guys should definitely try Dungeon Enemies build. It's really cheap. The deck in total costed me about $30 to build, and it's fairly competitive. I wish I would have ran it at regionals. Didn't have it built at the time. Jalen wasn't able to run it because he missed the entrance, but I feel like he would have done really well with it. And gonna be making some more improvements on it as more Dungeon Enemy stuff comes out, and hopefully I'll be running it at regionals next year. Well, at Team League, for the Buddy Fight events. So yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah. Bye.
Alrighty, bye everyone.
Bye,
Thank you
guys.
for watching.